There's a podcast that you will want to add to your playlist. Warriors for Christ. That's the number 4. Warriors for Christ is a Christian podcast providing biblical teaching without the doctrines of man. In other words, they like to let the Bible explain itself. The format includes non-denominational readings and teachings from the Bible. They also have interviews and whatever the Lord puts on their hearts to present. Life in this world can be very stressful and filled with anxieties. Warriors for Christ will give you the biblical information you need to help deal with all life has to bring. Warriors for Christ confronts many false doctrines which are pervasive in this age and what some call the church in a box. And they also offer a full gospel ministry. Find Warriors for Christ on Podomatic, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Player FM, Stitcher, Deezer, Amazon Podcast, and Spotify. Warriors for Christ. Share the podcast on all of your social media so your friends can listen to Warriors for Christ. That's the number 4. Add it to your playlist right now.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, and of course, make sure that you follow or subscribe on whatever platform you are listening to us on. Now, this Build Back Better, we're starting to learn some things that are in it that we did not know about. This blows my mind. They have cartoons to go along with this. This is on Breitbart. White House sells Life of Linda to promote socialist cradle-to-grave government. The White House released a new series of images to promote the life of Linda under President Joe Biden's proposed Build Back Better agenda, promoting the idea of a government role from cradle to grave.
Wow.
Now listen, this is all in the Build Back Better. The slides tell the story of Linda, a pregnant working mother. Now notice there's no man in this woman's life ever. She's just miraculously pregnant, and that's the last you hear of the man. But the slides tell the story of Linda, a pregnant working mother who receives a monthly check from the government to help her provide for her son after he is born, and also gets money to help her pay for daycare. Linda sends her son Leo to government school at the age of 3 and gets government help to pay for the community college when he leaves high school. I don't know what she's been doing her whole life. I guess sitting at home, watching Netflix.
Collecting checks from the government.
Leo's the son, right? Now, Leo, he's already out of college. Leo gets a job as a windmill technician after college and gets government funding to help care for his mother. This mother, she never worked at all. She's been on the government dole her whole life. She also gets her hearing paid for by the government as she grows old. The Life of Linda series shows no sign of a husband or a father in her life or the life of her child, suggesting the government will fill in for the man missing in their lives. The Biden White House Life of Linda series echoes the Life of Julie, a marketing push used by Barack Obama to sell Obamacare to single women. This is in the Build Back Better plan. I just thought I'd share that. It's very bizarre, and they have comic book images that go along with it. And that really fits into the Democrats, where the government takes care of you. And they really think that there is this strong voting block of people who just want to be wards of the state their entire life. And I know some people are comfortable with that kind of life, but I don't think it's as many people as they think.
Well, I'm starting to think now, I understand where this whole anti-man thing is coming from. And the whole thing behind it is because the government wants to take the place of the man.
Yeah.
So what they do is they want to villainize men, particularly white men, but they want to villainize men. They want to villainize their role in the family. They want to eliminate their role in the family because they want to create a society where they are the man. And how are you an independent woman if you're being taken care of by the government? I mean, what's the difference? If you're being taken care of by a man or the government, you're still not an independent woman.
Well, someone's got to do all the binge watching.
How is that women's lib? How is that ERA?
Yeah.
Where are these women's groups that are coming out and saying, don't let the government take care of you. Get a job. Take care of yourself. They're creating a welfare state. And, ever since these welfare programs began, decades ago, they have destroyed the family. Look what they've done to the black family. Back obviously there were problems in our country with African Americans before the civil rights movement started, even still to this day.
Not with African Americans, but African Americans had a difficult time.
They had a difficult time, right? That's not what I meant. I meant they had a difficult time in the country with racism and everything like that. I understand that. But when these social programs came along, look what it did to their family. Before all these social programs, the black family was a unit. They helped each other. Even white families helped each other. They were a unit. I mean, my great-grandfather lived in Newark with his kids. They all, except for my grandmother, my Aunt Mary, he had 5 kids. 3 of his kids lived with them. They were Italian. They all lived together in a 3-story house. They took care of each other. That's the way it used to be. They do that in Europe. Families stay together. Yeah. They help each other. In America, they've broken up the family. They've destroyed the family.
What they used to say, there used to be a saying, this is, when the welfare started, that when the social worker goes in the front door, the husband goes out the back door.
Yeah.
And what's happened now, all these years later, 50 years later, they've just dispensed of the husband. He's not in the picture.
And this is why they're villainizing men.
Yeah.
They don't want men in the picture at all because if there's a man in the picture, there's no need for the government.
They like men. They like 2 types of men.
To impregnate women.
Right? They like the men that are like Buttigieg, that take like 2 to 4 months, however long it was, paternity leave for some reason. And they like men like AOC's boyfriend, who is the most wimpiest guy I've ever seen. Now,
that's what they want.
This thing, though, with the Build Back Better, this is what the Build Back Better is about. Mainly one thing, that's paying off all the donors. You got to understand they're in a panic right now, and they've reduced the size of the bill by half. They haven't cut anything out, really. I know they said they cut this out, they cut out. What they did is they reduced the amount of time of the programs that they have in the bill, and that cuts back the overall number.
No, they have cut some things. That's
couple
why
tiny things.
Bernie Sanders, that's why the progressives
tiny little
are
things.
Not voting on it now because they've cut out progressive programs that Bernie Sanders wanted.
Tiny little things. The overall bill has not changed at all, and a lot of what you're seeing on television when they're talking about this, there's a few tiny little things that they've cut out. And this is all fake stuff to make it look as if they're doing concessions when they're not. All they did was really shorten the length of most of the programs and the giveaways they're giving. What this is all about is not things like this. This story in Breitbart, that was leaked out by the White House to make it sound like they're doing something for someone, because this Build Back Better bill they're talking about, they've not really told you why they need to do it. Like when there's been bills in the past, they always tell you. I gave you a couple examples we've talked about, like the stimulus bill Obama did, right? And he said all these shovel-ready jobs, and he was very specific. He said America's bridges are falling apart and unsafe, and they had some number. It was like over half of the bridges in the United States were unsafe and going to collapse.
Yeah.
I don't know any bridges that they've rebuilt around here.
Never.
And
they always talk about the bridges and the roads, but do they ever fix them? But they just keep taking your money.
But they had they said we need to pass this bill because we've got to do this. We've got to fix this. Last year, they had these huge bills. They had to bail out businesses and send people checks because they weren't working during the shutdown. With this, there's nothing where they say, okay, we've got to pass this bill because we're going to do this, we're going to take care of that, and we got this problem. All they're saying is, Build back. This is the Biden whisper. Build back better. It costs nothing. They just keep telling you that all the time, as opposed to saying, so they're leaking things out like this, and they're leaking things out like the little things that they say they're cutting out to try to show people that there are things in this bill to help you that you want. And the reality is it's a payback to the donors. And the donors are going to be very unforgiving about this, even when they pass something, and they're going to pass something eventually. They'll eventually pass something. But the donors, this is what goes on with the donors and the government. Remember, all this stuff is legal, even though it shouldn't be. But Congress makes the laws. So they make laws so that they can do illegal things, and it's legal, okay? Mm-hmm. They have a money laundering operation going on.
Exactly. This is why they create climate change and why they want to pass climate change laws. So they can rob you blind.
That's right. They have this is how their money laundering operation works. Individuals and companies donate as much money as they're legally allowed by law to the politicians. The politicians get elected, and then they pass things like this Build Back Better nonsense to pay back the donors thousands of times over what they donated. It's a money laundering operation.
And if they don't get that money, they won't donate again.
That's right. So Nancy Pelosi, she had a press conference today. She looked like hell. She was not. She's usually up there like, I'm pretty. I'm the speaker. Today she looked depressed, and
her dentures slip all the time.
She was
pretty she eat all her money. She can't afford dental implants. I mean, why the dentures?
The thing with Pelosi, these donors are so rich, they have her cell phone number. Okay. Her cell phone number is going on. Her cell phone's ringing nonstop. These people are so rich, they can get Biden on the phone on a dime. His phone's ringing off the hook, and they've not been able to deliver.
Well, and then if their program gets cut back in any way, shape, or form, I read that there was a park. Now, this sounds like BS to me. I read that a park near her house was going to get $400 million.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that part is BS. But I'm saying, where is this supposed park that's going to get $400 million? And are we sure that $400 million is going to actually go towards this park? I mean, all this seems like money laundering.
If it does, it's all legal because they make the laws.
Exactly.
It's like they do all this insider trading, right? They buy stocks for 10 cents.
They're so corrupt.
Then they pass a bill like this, and the companies that they bought the stocks for 10 cents for get all this government funding, and now they're worth hundreds of dollars a stock. It's insider trading. It's money
stocks
laundering,
that they own,
but it's all legal. Okay,
it's incredible.
because Congress makes the laws.
And when Biden gets up there and whispers, "It'll cost nothing, Build Back Better," and they think people are so stupid, and unfortunately, a lot of people are because they keep voting for these liberals. So if you vote for a liberal, you are stupid. But they keep saying it over and over again because they feel that if they just say it over, it's all about selling. It's all about selling it to the American people. And I've heard Obama say that term all the time. They're not selling it. They're not selling it right. They got to rebrand it, repackage it, present it in a different way, and convince people. It's called manipulation. They probably hire advertising firms by the millions to rebrand things, to present them to you in a way that's more palpable. But I think the problem they're having right now is the timing. You have a time where gas prices are through the roof. I mean, we're thinking about joining BJ's so we can get 30 cents off a gallon because on our 3 cars that we have. And gas
our
prices.
Daughters, we
our
don't
daughter's
have 3
car.
cars.
Yeah,
our daughter has a car.
She pays her own gas.
Yeah.
But we have 3 cars in the house. And the problem is they have high inflation. Bacon is $11 a pound. They have people can't get supplies and goods. They had a woman on Fox today. She's going to have to close her business because she can't get her parts to sell her product from China. So what they're doing is they're trying to pass this bill when economically people are struggling right now, and the last thing they want to do is worry about paying more taxes for this BS.
Like we were watching on Fox.
The timing's bad.
William Lajeunesse has been at the port out in California doing nothing for like 2 weeks. I haven't heard him report any news.
They should get him to start unloading the carts.
Yeah, he's basically like, I'm here, and the containers are. But they were talking on Fox today, and I want to talk about Fox because I got a really kind of a rude comment on YouTube about watching Fox News, which I'll talk about in a bit. But on Fox, they were talking about the shipping crisis and what they're planning on doing, and the Biden administration, they're talking about raising taxes on the imports at the port, and they think that'll clean things up.
Like a threat.
The reason that the shipping crisis is happening is a lot of reasons, but mainly it's because of the Democrats in California. We found out last week from Wisconsin Gary, I did not know this, that in California they only use unionized truck drivers, and that out-of-state independent truckers are harassed if they enter California.
Yeah, they've gotten backed up.
There's not a trucker shortage. There's a shortage of unionized truckers.
Right.
And that's a problem. And there's some other issues too. But if they wanted to get the shipping containers unloaded and going, they would cut all taxes and fees. Like here in Florida where we live, maybe they do this in some of your states too, but when school's coming back in the session at the end of the summer, every year in Florida, we have a tax holiday, and anything that's school-related, which includes computers, which includes shoes, clothes, all kinds of things. There's no sales tax in Florida for this period of time. Every year they do this. If they lifted all the taxes and then said, independent truckers around America, come to California, and for the next month, there'll be no fees, no taxes, don't worry about our regulations, and clear this, it'd be over in a week.
They're not going to do that because they never want to admit they made a mistake.
No, they can't go against their big government thing. And, the Soviet Union collapsed for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is this socialist communist system, like this story I read from Breitbart at the beginning, this cradle to grave business that the Democrats want everybody to live by, just does not work. Now, I want to tell everyone, as all these shipping supplies and everything else, we are now in Christmas shopping season, and I've been telling you guys all week about this incredible experience I had with my MyPillow mattress topper. I was out of town last weekend, nice hotel, woke up one night in the hotel with back pain, pretty bad back pain. I had to stay there a second night. I woke up after the second night sleeping on the hotel bed, which is a nice bed, nice mattress, nice hotel. My back pain was so severe, I was almost in tears. It was so bad. It really was really bad. I felt like my bones and my hip and my back were like rubbing together with no cartilage. It was that kind of pain. It was just so awful. I got home. I laid in bed. We have our MyPillow mattress topper, and in less than an hour, the pain was gone, and it hasn't returned. And right now at MyPillow.com, when you use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you can get 30% off the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. That's the thickest mattress topper that Mike Lindell makes. 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, the 3-inch one. That's the one we have. And you get 2 free MyPillows. It's a great deal. If you already have one for yourself, it makes a great Christmas gift, because you sleep on the mattress topper. And you really can get 3 gifts out of the way, right? You can give someone the mattress topper, and then 2 people that you're getting a smaller gift to, give each of them the free MyPillow that you get. It's a gift they'll remember for years to come. So go to MyPillow.com. Now, any special you see there, no matter what the special says, you can use our promo code Kane, Kane, and take advantage of the special. But this mattress topper special, 30% off the 3-inch mattress topper and 2 free MyPillows with the promo code Kane at checkout. It's a great deal, Kane. We'll be right back after this.
From author Jatika Six Colors Gibbs comes your next must-read book, Until Now, available on Amazon. Until Now is a book about the first 25 years of the author's life. It includes childhood trauma, abuse, and the author being forced to hide their true self, being abandoned, and many, many other things. The author's hope is to reach readers that can relate and let them know that they are not alone in their trauma. They are not at fault for the terrible things that's happened to them. They are not victims, but are survivors, and together we can get through anything. Author Jatika Six Colors Gibbs has been writing poetry since childhood, and Until Now includes the author's life story, but also includes related poetry between chapters. Until Now, from author Jatika Six Colors Gibbs. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Beautiful jewelry says so much about you. It says you have good taste and enjoy nice things, that you appreciate beauty as well as the world around you. The Ocean Rhyme Shop on Etsy, online at oceanrhyme.etsy.com, carry handcrafted Baroque pearl jewelry that's stunning and unique, just like you. They make gorgeous pearl pieces like earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and a whole lot more. Everything at oceanrhyme.etsy.com is lovely and sparkly, perfect for yourself or someone you care about as a gift. Artist Julia creates the most stunning pearl pieces. You will love the jewelry you buy from oceanrhyme.etsy.com. Each piece is made with care and is very special. Whether you want black pearls, golden South Sea pearls, Tahitian pearls, or freshwater pearls, you will find it at oceanrhyme.etsy.com. They have a wide variety to choose from. Before you shop for jewelry or gifts anywhere else, be sure to visit oceanrhyme.etsy.com. Share the link on all of your social media so your friends can discover the shop too. oceanrhyme.etsy.com. oceanrhyme.etsy.com. From author Sherry Chapman comes the book, A Killer Revisited, available on Amazon. Detective Jules Polton is one of the best at tracking down murderers, but something beyond her experience came to Edmond, Oklahoma. When the serial killer reaches out in a cryptic letter, it reveals a government conspiracy at the highest level. Will she be able to stop an Army experiment gone rogue? Find out when you read A Killer Revisited. If you love thrillers, you will love this book. With a well-thought-out plot, lots of twists and turns, it will keep you engaged and captivated. This is a true thriller from beginning to end. A Killer Revisited from author Sherry Chapman, available on Amazon. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Oh, just want to mention something about the Tesla, because Biden's talking about driving electric cars across the country and everything. We have a relative that has a Tesla, and we were away with them over the weekend. And
Yeah, it's my sister's husband.
yeah, our brother-in-law. Our brother-in-law. He has a Tesla.
Yeah.
And I knew he didn't have the Tesla with it. They live in Miami. We met in Orlando for Halloween Horror Nights, my daughter and I. And we were walking around talking, and I was asking him about the Tesla, and he drove it from Miami to Orlando. They did it once because they had to stop and charge it along the way, and it took a long time to charge it.
An hour.
Yeah, it took an hour to charge up the thing. They had to stop on the turnpike, and there's a Tesla charging station, and it took an hour, maybe a little bit more than an hour to charge it up. And they said they got there, but they'll never drive it a long distance again.
No, totally impractical.
You know, I've been trying to – I like Elon Musk and everything about Elon Musk, and the Tesla is kind of cool, but I really do think the car itself, at least in its current form, is a fad. And it seems to be a nuisance. I mean,
the government's going to force you to buy electric cars.
First off,
it's not a fad. Yeah. You're going to be one day. We will probably have to have one because the government's going to outlaw gas cars one day. I'm telling you,
not in Florida. Now we can get to Orlando on less than a tank of gas, like maybe half a tank. We can get there. Yeah, on our daughter's car, we can get there half a tank. I filled it up, half a tank. No, half a tank there each way.
She gets good gas mileage.
Yeah.
She gets about 40 miles a gallon.
Our car not so much. But but if I have to get gas, it
takes 10 minutes
less. It takes less. It takes like 5. In the Tesla, you're there an hour. It doesn't seem very practical to me.
Well, the liberals would just tell you, well, that's just an hour. Jen Psaki would just say, well, that's just another hour with your family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the charging station.
Just what you want.
On the side of the
road for an hour to entertain your kids and with moving traffic.
Now, this thing with Facebook changing their name to Meta today, META, Meta. Okay, here's the thing. I don't really like any social media, and I didn't get on social media for the longest time. I did not get on social media until we started the podcast. I was not on social media at all until we started the podcast because I figured, well, if we're doing a podcast, an online show, even though we've been doing the show for 9 years now, I say I got to be on social media. And here's the thing about Facebook. Facebook, they came up with this name. Very strange. Out of all the social media, I think everyone hates Facebook. Nobody likes Facebook, and the problem is
I think nobody likes Zuckerberg.
Well, they have too many rules.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think there should just be a handful of restrictions on social media, especially Facebook, because Facebook, the way Facebook operates, it's not like Twitter. And Twitter, the way Twitter works is depending on what you're tweeting and with what hashtag, everyone can see what you tweet. Everybody on Twitter has the potential to see whatever your tweets are. But even then, they could mute you or block you so you're not exposed to their content. And on my Twitter feed, the only things that come up in my feed are things that I'm interested in. And sometimes I'll see something in there that seems a little distasteful that I don't need to see, and I'll just mute that person or block that person. I don't see it again. Facebook is a similar thing. But Facebook, you really only see people that you're friends with.
Right.
Or if you're in a group, only things in a group you choose to join. So, the only restrictions that I believe really should be on Facebook are some mild things like, you can't incite violence.
Right.
Pornography or
Right.
certain types of obscene things. But as far
Those
as
aren't really mild, though, honey.
No. There could be things that are obscene that people need to see that aren't like pornography. But to me, it seems on Facebook in particular, the only things you're exposed to are things from your friends or groups that you've chosen to follow.
Right.
And at any particular time, you can choose to unfollow or block someone. And they just have too many rules because all these social media companies are ruled by liberals, and they want to control you, like this woman, this Linda woman from the Build Back Better, from Cradle to Grave. And they don't want people talking about things that they don't approve of. And Facebook, I'm not sure exactly why they changed their name. And I
don't either, and I don't get the name at all.
They're doing some kind of rebranding. They say more people are on Facebook than there are Muslims in the world because there's more Muslims than any other religion. I don't know how many people – I don't know how true that is because a lot of people on Facebook are dead, right, because people die and their accounts stay there. A lot of people – are on Facebook and left it long ago
I'm
and
on
are
Facebook.
inactive.
There's a lot of people on Facebook, and there's a lot of you're just not on it very much.
Yeah, there are a lot of people.
It's very active still.
There
with
are
older people.
There are, but the actual numbers I don't
not young
think
people
as and if
it'll die off with our generation. I feel if it's still around.
Yeah, it's on its way out.
It's mostly like 40, 45 plus.
Yeah.
Because Facebook has been around 15 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of grown with the people that have used it. It's kind of like Madonna. You know what I mean? Like she's not getting young people to listen to her. So when our generation dies off, well, she'll be dead anyway, but her appeal will die off too. That's how Facebook is. I think when our generation, Gen X, dies off or gets too old to even figure out how to use a computer, that's when I think Facebook will really lose its appeal. Young people are not into it at all. They're into TikTok. They're into Snapchat. They're into other things. And there'll be other social media platforms too along the way.
Here's the thing with the Facebook, with Zuckerberg and the Facebook people. They're extremely liberal, but most of the people, at least in the United States, most of the people on Facebook are over 40, and so most of their users, at least in the United States, this may be different if you're in other parts of the world, but most of the people, because of their age that are on Facebook, are conservative-minded in their politics, if they're politically active.
I would say that's true.
Because they're older. Older people tend to be conservative because they're wiser and have some skin in the game.
They don't want a platform for any conservative person to have to congregate or meet other people like-minded.
So what's going on with Facebook is they despise the user of their platform. The user of their platform aren't the politically minded people they want, and they despise. Now, if Facebook, I guess they came up with the name to do a rebrand. If they wanted to do a rebrand and they wanted to be relevant, they would allow Donald Trump back on. That
would have been amazing.
Facebook would just be huge in a second if they let Donald Trump back on, and they really should. He never should have been taken off. By the way, if you go in the description, you'll see a Linktree link in the description of this episode that has a link to all my social media. And I'm on a lot of social media, and I'm going to be on Trump's new social media platform. Now, President Trump's new social media platform next month starts the beta edition with small numbers of people.
Oh, that'll be exciting.
And then after the first of the year, it's going to be open to everybody. And I'll be on that too, Truth Social. And President Trump's announcement on Truth Social is he is welcoming everyone. He's welcoming everyone. Mm-hmm. Now, what's going to happen is there'll be some people that aren't going to be allowed that do pornography and things like this.
I would hope.
But you got to have some standards and practices. I get that. But what goes on with...
You have to, obviously. You can't have anybody committing crimes or or doing something that can open you up for major lawsuits, so you do have to have some rules. I mean, that's just this is how society is. This can't be a free for all. Well, obviously.
I have rules on the radio.
Exactly.
Everybody
has rules.
There's certain words I can't use.
Exactly.
You can't. Obviously, no one in America can incite violence. There's some restrictions on the radio, and they don't really handicap you. They're, and I can understand having similar restrictions on social media. But what's going on social media is, the Taliban are on Twitter and everything, but Donald Trump is not. He's not allowed to. And that's a problem. They're obviously targeting conservative people. And the reason they're doing that is, this has been going on for a while, is conservatives never were activists before social media. Right. Conservatives never had time to be activists because they're busy working and have kids. Liberals don't have jobs, a lot of them, and they don't have families and responsibilities. So they have time to be activists. And with social media, it started on Facebook in 2010 with the Obamacare. The Tea Party formed through Facebook groups. Tea Party groups started forming. Yeah,
that's what they really don't like.
Facebook.
They don't like conservatives having any kind of a platform where they can meet and organize and things like that. That's what this is really all about. They're mad that Facebook is even giving us a platform because they really see us as a danger.
Terrorists.
They see us as terrorists. I mean, they really
domestic
do.
Terrorists, the Attorney
General.
General.
80 million, half the country, or whatever. Yeah. It's more than 80 million, obviously. So they think about half the country is that way, and they want to they see us as a real threat. So for us to be on Facebook and be able to get together and talk and organize events like Trump parades, or like when you went up to Mar-a-Lago on the
President's
inauguration
Day, and there were 100,000 people there. Yeah.
Exactly. They don't like that stuff. Well, they don't like that happening.
The conservatives, there were a handful of times when conservatives organized, like the Christian Coalition in the 90s, but that was kind of a fringe thing. When Facebook started is when the Tea Party formed through these Facebook groups, and it's been over 10 years now, and for more than a decade, conservatives have been very well organized. That's how the MAGA movement with President Trump was able to organize and be so successful. How do you think these Trump rallies are overloaded with? How do people find out about them? Through networking and social media.
Exactly.
So the liberals, even though it's been over a decade now, cannot get over the fact that conservatives now are activists, which they never were before. And they're really trying hard to clamp down on it. And that's what's going on with Facebook and everything else. It got out of control. They never saw conservatives organizing as activists, and they just can't have that. They're just having a fit. And Truth Social, which is Donald Trump's social media platform, the site, even though it's not live yet, has already been hit by hackers. It's going to be overloaded with so many. They're going to overload it with traffic, the bots. They'll have bots all over the world harassing the site and trying to bring it down, like they've done with Mike Lindell's Frank speech. They're going to try to take him to court. They're already being sued over the code for Truth Social, and there's going to be all kinds of problems that he faces with it. But that's why he's taken his time, and it'll work. And what I find most significant about Truth, because there's been other things like Parler and Getter, okay? Truth Social is going to be successful because it's Donald Trump. He's not on Parler. He's not on Getter. And Tim Cook at Apple allowed it in the Apple App Store already.
Which is amazing.
You can pre-order it, and I've already pre-ordered it. So when it's available, it'll automatically appear on all of my devices. And I'm going to be on Truth Social on day one, and I know a lot of you will. And I think it's going to be a big success. And for those that think that Facebook and Twitter have no competition, MySpace was the big thing, and these other ones just fell off. Trump.
We have breaking news when we get back. Or do you want to do it now?
No, we're going to break.
Okay, it's pretty big.
So we're going to take our break. When we get back, we'll have this breaking news that I don't even know what it is. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
Attention California residents. If you're looking for a loan, you need to contact Farzad Bavand at Pacific Wholesale Mortgage. Farzad is a licensed mortgage loan officer based out of Sacramento, California. He can also get you the lowest mortgage rates. He has access to over 50 wholesale lenders. He can close in under 3 weeks. People are moving these days. You need a loan officer that can move as fast and as efficiently as you can. You can find him on Facebook and Instagram at FBAVAND.PACWM.com or call Farzad Bavan at 925-577-1138. 925-577-1138. From author and teacher Laura Griffith comes the children's book Taco Tuesday. If you love tacos and love to draw, Taco Tuesday is the book for you. It's a fun story about tacos, and it's illustrated to share with friends and family. Loved by artists and readers of all ages, the author's goal with Taco Tuesday is to promote reading comprehension and to keep kids busy on a rainy day. As a teacher, author Laura Griffith wrote many books for students, and now has released Taco Tuesday for all students everywhere to read. For readers ages 4 to 13, Taco Tuesday is perfect for parents, grandparents, and teachers for classroom reading. It makes a great gift, too. Taco Tuesday from author and teacher Laura Griffith. Available on Amazon. Order your copy right now and follow the author on Instagram at Taco Tuesday Book. From author Gabriel Ashby comes the book, The Relic of Water, available on Amazon. What happens when your fate and destiny are already chosen for you? At the age of 10, Aqua is awakened by sounds of gunshots ringing through the house, only to realize that her mother has been shot down in cold blood. Abducted by the killers, Aqua finds herself being sold into the dark, dangerous world of drug runners and money launderers. She's plagued by a series of bizarre dreams that surround the creation of a cylindrical rod with a priceless sapphire resting on the top. Aqua must now somehow escape from her captors, survive the dark streets of Los Angeles, figure out the meaning behind her dreams and the strange powers that are awakening within her. All the while, battling an evil force that had been set in motion to stop her from finding the truth about who and what she is. Order your copy of The Relic of Water from author Gabriel Ashby on Amazon in Kindle and paperback.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Kathy, during the break, did not tell me what the breaking news was. So.
Breaking news on Daily Mail. Andrew Cuomo is charged with forcibly touching aide who claimed he groped her breast. 2 months after he was pushed out of office by Letitia James. It says here, a criminal summons was filed for Cuomo in Albany City Court today.
Oh, my goodness.
It was mistakenly filed early before the victim gave her permission or agreement and was leaked to local reporters. The charge is a Class A misdemeanor, forcible touching. It relates to him allegedly groping her breast in the governor's mansion. He has always denied the allegation, of course. James is now running to become, that's Letitia James who filed it. She's running to become the governor. Now, this seems like a conflict of interest to me. I'm not saying he's innocent, but the prosecutor who is prosecuting him is going to run for his job.
She's the attorney general.
He's going to run for governor.
Yeah.
This is all political with her.
Yeah.
I mean, that is crazy. I'm not saying he's innocent, but I mean, that's like going after your political enemies. He's not running against her, but isn't this a little strange?
Okay.
Charges were filed today. So a Class A misdemeanor. So I don't know how much time.
Yeah, they were. Listen. Okay. To me,
I think it's 15 months.
To me, it seems that these women need to butch up a little bit, okay? You know, there's this story about Ilhan Omar, a senator kissed her, and she's traumatized like she was assaulted. I mean, what just happened to the days when a guy would make a move, the girl didn't want it, and she'd slap him and say, get the hell out of here, I'm leaving, or whatever. What is it with going to the police and doing all the press conferences and everything else?
Well, let me tell you, it says here he could face up to a year in prison. This is the girl who took a picture with him sitting on his lap, by the way. Okay,
was that before or after the incident?
I don't know. And she looked very cozy with him in this picture, saying he groped her breasts. I'd like to know what her definition of groped is. Did he just come out and flat out grab it, or did he brush it? A lot of things get misconstrued these days and get confusing. Like you were talking about Huma Abedin, is that her name? She said that she went up to a guy's hotel room.
No. She was with a senator who she will not name. I'm assuming it's a Democrat, and she went to their apartment.
She went to his apartment at night for a cup of coffee. Alone. So here's a tip, ladies. When you go to an apartment at night with a man
alone,
this is how men think. They're going to assume that you want sex. I mean, that's a no-brainer. So she goes up to the apartment.
I don't think that is something.
If he's a straight guy. I mean, is that so hard to figure out?
I don't think that's an assumption that's a bad thing. I mean, I think the man should assume that. I mean, if you're going to an apartment or a hotel
alone with a man, that's what they're going to assume.
Of course.
Okay, that's what they're going to assume, that you're saying, oh, okay, let's go for it. So she said that a guy kissed her, and she called that an assault.
Yeah.
Guys kissed me all the time when I was in college.
Oh, I thought you were going to say now. I was like,
no. When I was in college in a sorority, I had guys at parties would just come up and, and sometimes I just push them away, or they try to kiss me.
There's a couple
I'd push
things.
them away, or I'd be like, oh, okay. But I never considered that an assault. To me, see, they've really blurred the lines of what assault really is. To me, an assault is like a rape or like something very, forcible, and that you definitely is, traumatic like that. But a guy just kissing you after you go to his apartment at night alone and accept an invitation, and he makes that's what we used to call making a move. Back in the day, that was a guy making his move.
There's a few things going on here.
That's not an assault. Okay. That's crazy.
There's a few things going on here.
Don't you agree with me?
Yeah.
That's just a guy making his move.
Let's slow down.
For a kiss.
Let's slow down and take one at a time, because there's three things going on here.
On Cuomo.
Yeah, there's three things going on here, okay? There's Cuomo.
Yeah.
There's Huma Ahmadine, and then there's something new with Joe Biden, which I'm going to get to that one last.
Oh, yes.
Okay. The thing with Huma Ahmadine, this is what's going on. She was at an event with Senator Clinton, and she's Hillary Clinton's best friend, okay? So Hillary's known about all this for years. She has a new book out, Huma Ahmadine, who is Anthony Weiner's ex-wife, and she told this story about an unnamed male senator.
Yeah.
I believe that it is someone who is currently a Democrat in the Senate. I think it's somebody who is currently in power. My first thought was...
Or president.
No, because... I looked into this today. Joe Biden did not have an apartment or a house in D.C. He went home to Connecticut.
Okay.
You
mean Delaware?
Delaware, yeah, Delaware.
That's where he
Sorry,
goes.
Connecticut, to throw Biden on you. Let's let Delaware's responsible for Biden. Yeah. But Delaware and Scranton.
So we'll rule him out.
So my first thought was either Ted Kennedy, or who's dead, because he was alive then and he was in the Senate.
Who had an apartment in D.C.
He had probably apartments all over the place, this
Probably.
guy, with a woman and everyone.
Secret apartments.
But my first thought was Ted Kennedy or Biden when I first heard it. And then I looked into Biden, and he didn't have a place in D.C. So it wouldn't have been his apartment. It would have been like a hotel room or something. Then my next thought was Schumer.
Yuck.
But then Schumer, back in those days, was like living in his office at the Capitol. So it wasn't him.
No.
But something,
I can't see him making a move on any woman.
This story with Huma Ahmadine, what's going on here is the Clintons are making a move against someone, and they're using Huma Ahmadine is Hillary Clinton's best friend, has been for many years. She's very tight with. She may be Hillary's only true friend.
So you think this is payback?
No, there is something that there's something that
they're holding over somebody's head.
No. There's something that Hillary wants, and she wants somebody out of the way. I don't know who it is, but this has something to do with Hillary Clinton making a move. That's Huma Ahmadine. Okay.
Yeah, all of a sudden she's telling the story. Yeah,
there's something going on with the Clintons there. The second thing with Governor Cuomo, this ridiculous story with Governor Cuomo. He didn't rape anyone. Okay, he made a move. If it's true, he made a move that she says she wasn't interested in, even though she was sitting on his lap all happy. That's not assault. That's nothing you go.
I agree. I don't think that's worth being arrested or charged.
If women went to the police for that, the only men not arrested would be gay men. Right?
Well, maybe other guys would have them arrested.
I guess. I mean, it's just so strange.
Look at Kevin Spacey.
So what this is about is making someone in the Democrat Party is afraid that Governor Cuomo is going to run in the Democratic primary for president. So they're doing this to stop that.
That's clearly. I'm not saying he's innocent of he's a sleaze, but I don't think this is groping somebody's breast. Like I said, I'd like to know what her definition of grope is, and she could even be lying.
I'll send her an email and get her on the show.
It's very political. Mm-hmm. The fact this prosecutor is doing this where she's going to run for governor. I mean, she's trying to lift the attorney general.
Yeah, she's trying to lift
It's a political move.
But and this Letitia James, she's the one who ran for attorney general on the promise of suing and arresting Donald Trump and everything.
Yeah.
So that's how she gets it lit.
I guess she's got to go for the.
They're trying to stop Governor Cuomo from running for president or maybe even governor again. Okay, now the third one is this: Jill Biden. Now this came out.
Oh yeah, this is
and this is what I believe. And I brought this up on the radio today, And when I brought it up, I didn't tell people what I thought was going on because I was thinking somebody else would bring this up. But I did do a poll in my YouTube chat room, and the results were mixed on this. Jack Posobiec reported yesterday, and Dinesh D'Souza is talking about this too yesterday. I found it from Dinesh D'Souza first, that Jill Biden has been actively discussing with people the process to remove a sitting vice president, which of course is Kamala Harris.
I told you those two would not get along.
So people are always going back to this thing. Well, she doesn't like Kamala because she humiliated Joe in the first debate. And I'm sure there's some truth to that.
That's not why.
I think what's going on here is I think Joe Biden and Kamala have had sex, or he's made a move on her to have sex, and Jill has found out about this. And she wants – if you notice, Kamala Harris –
That's an interesting theory.
Kamala Harris hasn't been at the White House that much. She may be
something happened.
She may be hovering around this week because of this bill passage, but she's been in exile for a while.
That's true.
And Joe Biden is a sleazeball, and I could see Joe going up to Kamala – and we could be the first president and vice president to have. And I think there's a more.
Come on, man. Think about it.
There is a great, and she's not a person of high moral character. Willie
That's
Brown's girlfriend. I think there's greater than a 50% chance that they have had sex.
And Jill found out.
And there's about a 99% chance that if they haven't, Joe Biden has made a move.
I think you're on to something with that. I really do.
I think that's what's going on with Jill Biden.
So she wants her out.
She wants her out because of that. And so let us know in the comments on this.
I think you're on to something.
Final thing. Do you believe that Joe Biden and Kamala have had sex, or Joe has been making a move to make it happen and Jill found out about it, and that's why she's asking people, how do you remove a sitting vice president?
Is there a way to remove a sitting other than Kamala committing a crime and being impeached?
You could get
Is
them
that
to
the only way?
You could buy them off and get them to resign, but that's a humiliating thing.
She'd never do it.
No.
She'd never do that for them.
But I believe it's what I said. And so let us know in the comments your thoughts on that. Now listen, we're all out of time, but we'll be back next time. I'm Brian. Always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
From author Jatika Six Colors Gibbs comes your next must-read book, Until Now, available on Amazon. Until Now is a book about the first 25 years of the author's life. It includes childhood trauma, abuse, and the author being forced to hide their true self, being abandoned, and many, many other things. The author's hope is to reach readers that can relate and let them know that they are not alone in their trauma. They are not at fault for the terrible things that's happened to them. They are not victims, but are survivors, and together we can get through anything. Author Jatika Six Colors Gibbs has been writing poetry since childhood, and Until Now includes the author's life story, but also includes related poetry between chapters. Until Now, from author Jatika Six Colors Gibbs. Order your copy right now on Amazon.